Amina walked slowly through the corridors of her husband's mansion on Victoria Island. The afternoon light came through the tall windows and made everything look like gold. The marble floors were so clean that she could see her reflection in them. She wore an expensive dress that Chinedu had bought for her, and diamond earrings that matched the cold feeling in her chest. The mansion had everything: a swimming pool, a garden with flowers from all over the world, rooms filled with beautiful furniture. But inside, Amina felt empty. She sat down in the sitting room and looked out at the city of Lagos. So many people were working, moving, building things. But she was here, in this palace of silence. Her life was controlled by one man. His name was Chinedu Okoye, and he was very successful. Everyone in Lagos knew his name. He owned businesses that brought goods from other countries. He made a lot of money. And he made all the decisions in their house. Every morning, Chinedu would tell Amina what to do. He decided what clothes she should wear. He decided which friends she could see. He controlled the money in their house. She had a credit card, but he watched everything she bought. One day she wanted to buy books about business, and he asked her why she needed them. "A woman like you should read fashion magazines," he said with a smile that was not really a smile. "Not business books. That is not your place." Amina had gone to university. She studied business and economics. She was smart and she understood numbers and plans. But Chinedu never listened when she tried to talk about these things. He would pat her head like she was a child and say, "You are sweet, but you do not understand the real world. Let me handle these things. You just be a good wife and make me happy." One day Amina had an idea. She thought about the textiles, the beautiful fabrics that African women had been making for hundreds of years. She knew about traditional dyeing methods that her grandmother had taught her. She had seen tourists visiting Nigeria and paying a lot of money for authentic African cloth. She thought, "I could make these beautiful fabrics and sell them. Other women could help me. We could make money and be independent." She was excited. She went to Chinedu that evening and told him her idea. She spoke about the market, about tourists, about the beauty and value of traditional African textiles. She had thought about it carefully and had some numbers written down. She felt nervous but hopeful. Maybe he would be proud of her idea. Maybe he would help her. But Chinedu laughed. It was not a kind laugh. It was a laugh that made her feel small and stupid. "A textile business?" he said, still laughing. "You? My dear, you have no idea what you are talking about. Business is complicated. You need connections. You need capital. You need knowledge. Do you think you can just start a business because you have a little idea? That is very sweet but very foolish." Amina tried to explain more. She showed him the numbers. She told him about the women who could help. She said she could learn more. But he just shook his head. "No," he said firmly. "I will not allow it. Do you know what people would say? They would say that Chinedu's wife is working like a poor woman. They would think I do not have enough money to take care of you. Do you want to embarrass me? Besides, you could never survive without me. You lack the education. You lack the connections. You lack the capital. You need me, Amina. Without me you are nothing." Those words hit her like a stone. They went deep into her heart and stayed there. She did not argue anymore. She just said, "Yes, husband. I understand." But inside something broke a little bit. Something inside her started to feel dead. That night, Amina lay in bed next to Chinedu and cried silently. She thought about all the ideas she had never told him. She thought about all the dreams she had put away. She thought about how she was young and intelligent, but she had become invisible. Her education meant nothing. Her ideas meant nothing. Her dreams meant nothing. She was just a beautiful object in his house. Days passed. Amina continued her life as usual. She went to parties with Chinedu. She wore the clothes he bought for her. She sat quietly and listened to him talk about his business success. She smiled when she was supposed to smile. But inside she was lonely. Then one evening there was a knock on the door. It was Zara. Zara was Amina's friend from university days. They had not seen each other for 3 years because Chinedu did not like Amina spending time with her friends. He said they were bad influence. But Zara had called the house many times and finally Chinedu had allowed one visit. Zara came into the house and Amina saw something that made her heart stop. Zara was glowing. She was wearing clothes that showed she was successful. She moved like a person who was confident and strong. Her eyes were bright and alive. "Ami," Zara said, hugging her tight. "I have missed you so much. Look at you. You are still so beautiful but you look sad. Are you okay?" Amina did not know what to say. So she just smiled and said, "I am fine. Come, let us sit in the garden." In the garden, Zara told her about her life. She had started a business making beauty products. She made creams and oils using natural ingredients from Nigeria. She had started small, making the products in her kitchen. Then she started selling them to friends and family. Now she had a shop. She employed 5 women. Her products were being sold in 3 different cities. I am going to expand soon, Zara said, her eyes shining. I am opening a second shop. Ami, it is so hard work, but it is so good. I feel alive. I wake up in the morning and I am excited about my day. I am building something that is mine. Do you understand? It is mine. No one gave it to me. I made it with my own hands. Amina listened to every word. She watched how Zara talked with passion and confidence. She remembered that they had both been like this in university. They had both been full of dreams. But somewhere along the way, Amina had lost her dreams. She had given them to Chinedu instead. You could do this too, Ami, Zara said, taking her hand. You remember how smart you were in school? You remember how we used to plan everything together? You can still do that. You can build something. You can be someone. Amina looked at her friend and felt something inside her wake up. It was like a small flame starting to burn. It was small and weak, but it was there. For the first time in years, she thought, maybe I could. That night, after Zara left, Amina stood on the balcony of the mansion and looked out at Lagos. The city was full of people doing things, building things, creating things. And she was here, waiting for her husband to tell her what to do. Something had changed. Something inside her had started to move. It was small, but it was real. 2 weeks after Zara's visit, Chinedu told Amina he was going to London for business. He would be gone for 10 days. He kissed her goodbye and told her to be a good wife while he was away. She smiled and waved as his car drove away from the mansion. But inside, her heart was beating fast. She had a plan. That same evening, Amina sat at the computer in the study. Her hands were shaking a little bit. She had never done anything like this before. She opened the internet and searched for business courses online. She found one that was perfect. It was about starting a small business, about marketing, about how to manage money, about how to grow from nothing to something big. The course cost money, but Amina had been saving her allowance for months. She had hidden small amounts of money in an envelope under her mattress. Nobody knew about it. She signed up for the course using an email address that Chinedu did not know about. Her heart was beating so hard. She felt like a criminal, but also like she was finally doing something real. That night, she started the first lesson. She watched videos late at night when the house was quiet. She took notes in a notebook that she hid in a book on her shelf. No one would find it there. For the first time in years, Amina felt excited. She was learning something. Her brain was working hard. She was thinking about problems and solutions. Every night when everyone in the house was sleeping, she would do her homework for the course. She watched videos about how to start a business. She learned about customers and marketing and money. She learned that it was possible for a person to start with nothing and build something real. Then came the trip to her grandmother's village. Amina told Chinedu, well, she told him before he left for London, that she wanted to visit her grandmother. She said the old woman was not feeling well and needed help. It was true. Her grandmother was getting older. Chinedu said she could go, but only for 3 days. Do not stay too long, he said. I do not like when you go to that village. Your family has strange ideas. Amina took the bus from Lagos early in the morning. The trip took 3 hours. She watched the city change into smaller towns and then into villages. Green fields and trees surrounded everything. Finally, she arrived at her grandmother's small house made of concrete blocks. The old woman was sitting outside in the shade. Amina. My child, her grandmother called out. Her name was Mama Folake and she was 91 years old. She stood up slowly and hugged her granddaughter. Her skin was like paper, but her arms were strong. Her eyes were bright and full of love. Hello, Mama, Amina said. I came to see you. They sat together and talked for hours. Amina told her grandmother about her life. About the mansion. About Chinedu. About feeling trapped. Her grandmother listened carefully. She did not say much, but her eyes understood everything. On the second day, Mama Folake took Amina to a small room behind her house. Inside there was a large pot of blue water. There were white cloths hanging on lines. There were patterns drawn on paper. This was where her grandmother made textiles using the ancient Adair method. Come, Mama Folake said. I will teach you what my mother taught me and what her mother taught her. For 2 days Amina learned. Her grandmother showed her how to fold the cloth in special ways. How to tie it with string. How to dip it into the indigo dye. How each fold and each tie created a different pattern. Some patterns meant unity. Some meant prosperity. Some meant the power of women. Some meant the passage of time. Every pattern had a story. Every pattern carried meaning. These patterns, her grandmother said, her old hands moving slowly but surely, these patterns carry the strength of our mothers. Our grandmothers made these patterns while they were building families and communities. They made beauty while they were working hard. Do you see? We women, we have always been creators. We have always made things. Never let anyone tell you that what you want to make is not important. Never let anyone make you small. Amina listened to every word. She watched her grandmother's hands move through the water and the cloth. She felt like she was receiving a gift that was very old and very valuable. I want to do this, Amina said. I want to learn this completely. I want to make these fabrics. Her grandmother smiled. A real smile. Then you will, she said. You have the hands for it and you have the heart for it. That is all you need. When Amina returned to Lagos, she was different. She had something inside her now. She had knowledge that came from her own people. She had skills that were real and valuable. She had a connection to something bigger than herself. In the guest house behind the main mansion, Amina set up a small workspace. She told the household staff that she was doing a hobby project, making things to give to friends. No one paid attention. She bought indigo dye. She bought white cloth. She began to make textiles using her grandmother's methods, but mixing them with modern colors and designs. She worked late at night. She would fold the cloth, tie it, dip it in the dye, and then wait to see what pattern emerged. Every time she opened a folded cloth, it was like magic. The pattern was always unique. She would take photos of her creations on her phone and save them in a private folder. Then she met Patience. Zara had told her about Patience. Patience was a woman who had built a successful business. She owned a chain of shops that sold beautiful things. She was respected in Lagos. Zara had called her and explained about Amina. She asked if Patience would be willing to meet her friend. Patience agreed. They met at a small coffee shop in Ikoyi. Patience was a tall woman with gray in her hair and confidence in her eyes. She was probably in her 50s, but she moved like someone half her age. So you want to start a business? Patience asked, sitting down across from Amina. Amina nodded. I want to make textiles. Traditional African textiles using old methods. But I do not know how to make it into a real business. Patience looked at her for a long time. Then she smiled. Show me what you have made, she said. Amina showed her photos on her phone. The textiles were beautiful. The colors were rich. The patterns were unique and had meaning. Patience looked at each photo carefully. These are good, she said finally. These are really good. But good is not enough. You need to understand business. You need to know your customers. You need to know your costs. You need to know how to grow. Do you want me to teach you? Yes, Amina said. Please. And so Patience became her mentor. They met once a week. Patience taught her about markets. She taught her about pricing. She taught her about how to talk to customers. She taught her about how to grow slowly and carefully. But most importantly, she taught her something else. You have to believe in yourself first, Patience told her one day. They were sitting in Patience's office, which overlooked the Lagos skyline. If you do not believe that what you are doing is valuable, then nobody else will believe it either. The world can smell fear. The world can smell doubt. But the world can also smell confidence. So you have to believe in yourself first. Then the customers will come. Then the business will grow. Amina listened and understood. She began to believe. Every textile she made was made with more confidence. Every piece was beautiful because she was putting her whole self into it. She was not making them because someone told her to. She was making them because they came from her heart. By the end of 3 months, Amina had made over 100 beautiful textiles. They were folded carefully and hidden in boxes in the guest house. She had taken photos of all of them. She had written down the story of each design. She had created a small notebook with prices and information. She was ready. She did not know exactly what would happen next, but she was ready for something to change. She could feel it coming. One night, she looked at herself in the mirror and did not recognize the person looking back at her. This woman had fire in her eyes. This woman had dreams. This woman was alive. It was a Tuesday morning when everything changed. Amina was in the kitchen having coffee when she heard Chinedu's voice from the study. He was home earlier than expected. His London trip had ended one day early. She heard him moving things around. Then she heard nothing. Then she heard him shout her name. Amina. Amina, come here now. Her heart stopped. She knew that voice. It was the voice he used when he was very angry. She walked slowly to the study. Chinedu was sitting at the computer. His face was red. His hands were shaking. On the screen she could see it. Her business course certificate. The email confirmation showing that she had completed the course. Everything was there. "What is this?" he asked, his voice quiet and dangerous. "What's this?" Amina did not answer. She could not think of anything to say. "I asked you a question," he shouted. He stood up from the chair so fast that it fell backward. "When were you going to tell me about this? How long have you been hiding this from me?" Amina started to speak, but he cut her off. "Be quiet," he said. His voice was like ice. "You have been lying to me. While I was working, building our life, making money for this family, you were secretly taking business courses. Do you understand how embarrassing this is? Do you understand what this means?" "I was just learning," Amina tried to explain. "I do not care," he shouted. "I do not care what you were doing. This ends now. Do you understand me? No. You will delete this account. You will stop this foolishness immediately. I will not have my wife running around trying to be a businesswoman. It is undignified. It is inappropriate. It is embarrassing." Amina stood very still. She could feel her whole body shaking. "But Chinedu, I have just been studying. I have not even—" "Enough," he said. He pointed his finger at her. "You do not speak unless I tell you to speak. You do not make decisions without me. You do not do anything without me. Do you understand?" She did not answer. She was too afraid. "I asked you a question," he said louder. "Do you understand?" "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, what?" he demanded. "Yes, I understand," she said quietly. He turned away from her and went to the computer. He deleted the email. He deleted the certificate. He did it all very quickly and very angrily. Then he sat back down in the chair and looked at her. "Listen to me very carefully," he said, his voice cold and controlled. This was somehow more frightening than when he was shouting. "If I ever find out that you are doing this again, there will be consequences. Do you understand? There will be serious consequences." "What kind of consequences?" Amina asked, though she was afraid to ask. "I will cut off all your credit cards," he said. "I will freeze all your bank accounts. You will not have 1 naira. You will not have money for food or clothes or anything. You will have nothing. Do you understand?" "Nothing." Amina nodded. "And if you continue to disobey me," he continued, "I will divorce you. And when I divorce you, you will get nothing. No money. No house. Nothing. You will leave this mansion with only the clothes on your back. Your family will be ashamed. You will be alone. Do you understand? Completely alone." He stood up and walked toward her. She stepped back. He was not going to hit her. He had never hit her. But she was still afraid. "You need me, Amina," he said, his voice quiet now but still full of anger. "Do you understand that? You need me. Without me you are nothing. You have no education. You have no connections. You have no money. You have no one. If I leave you, no man will ever want you. You will be a failure and a disgrace. So you will stop this business course nonsense right now. You will be a good wife. You will stop thinking about yourself. You will think only about your husband and your family. Do you understand?" "Yes," Amina said. But inside something was happening. Something was breaking. Something was also being born. She went to her room and locked the door. She sat on the bed and cried. But as she cried, something strange happened. The fear started to go away. And something else started to grow. It was anger. But it was not the angry kind that makes you want to hurt someone. It was a different kind of anger. It was the kind that makes you strong. She thought about her grandmother's words. "Never let anyone make you small." She thought about Patience saying, "Believe in yourself first." She thought about Zara's glowing face when she talked about her business. She thought about the textiles she had made. She thought about the fire she had felt inside herself. She realized something. She realized that Chinedu was wrong. She did not need him. She had believed that for so long, but it was not true. She had an education. She had skills. She had ideas. She had her grandmother's knowledge. She had Zara and Patience. She had herself. That night she could not sleep. She lay in bed next to Chinedu and made a decision. She was going to leave him. The decision was terrifying. But it was also clear. She knew what she had to do. On Wednesday, while Chinedu was at his office, Amina called Zara. She told her everything. Zara did not say much. She just said, "Pack a bag. I will come get you tomorrow morning." That night, Amina packed carefully. She put her clothes into a large bag. She put her documents, her passport, her university certificate, her bank book, into a smaller bag. She took the boxes of textiles from the guest house. She took the photos of her designs. She took her grandmother's indigo dye. She took everything that was hers. She left a note on the pillow. It was short. It said, "I am leaving. I will contact you through my lawyer. Do not try to find me." Friday morning came. Amina woke up very early. It was still dark outside. Chinedu was sleeping. She looked at him for a moment. She did not feel angry anymore. She just felt sad. Sad for the woman she had been. Sad for the years she had wasted. But not sad for the choice she was making now. She picked up her bags. She walked slowly through the mansion one last time. She looked at the beautiful rooms, the expensive furniture, the paintings on the walls. She looked at all of it and felt nothing. None of it was worth her life. None of it was worth her dreams. She walked out the front door just as the sun was starting to come up. Lagos was waking up. People were going to work. The city was moving forward. And so was she. Zara's car was waiting outside. Amina got in. She did not look back at the mansion. She did not look back at her old life. She looked forward. She looked at the city ahead of her. She looked at the future. "Are you okay?" Zara asked. "Yes," Amina said. And she meant it. For the first time in many years she was telling the truth. "I am okay. I am more than okay. I am free." They drove through Lagos toward Zara's apartment in Yaba. The morning light was golden. The city was full of people and noise and life. And Amina, for the first time in many years, felt like she was part of it. She was not watching from behind glass anymore. She was living. Amina sat in a small office in Yaba with a cup of tea that had gone cold. In front of her were papers and forms. She was starting her own business. The paperwork was confusing, but she read every word carefully. She had learned that from her business course. You must understand everything before you sign your name. The business was called Ancestral Threads. The name came from her grandmother. It meant that the business was about threads that connected to the past, to the stories of their ancestors, to the knowledge of their mothers and grandmothers. Every textile would carry that story forward into the future. Amina had saved money from her allowance. She had 300,000 naira. It was not much, but it was hers. She also took a loan from a microfinance organization. The people there believed in her. They looked at her textiles and they said, "Yes, this is something real. This is something that can work." The loan was 200,000 naira. Together, she had 500,000 naira to start her business. With this money, she rented a small shop space. It was not large. It was maybe the size of 2 small bedrooms. But it was hers. She painted the walls white. She put up wooden shelves. She created a simple counter where customers could pay. She hung the textiles on the walls like they were art because they were art. Then she went to her grandmother's village. She talked to 2 young women there. Their names were Maya and Tund. They were both in their 20s. They were intelligent and hardworking, but there were no jobs in the village. They were happy when Amina asked them to come to Lagos and work with her. "We will teach you the old ways," Amina told them. "We will teach you how to make these beautiful textiles. And we will teach you about business too. We will teach you how to price things, how to talk to customers, how to understand numbers. When you work here, you will learn everything. You will become skilled workers. You will become businesswomen yourselves." Maya and Tund arrived in Lagos with hope in their eyes. Amina set up a workspace behind the shop. She taught them everything her grandmother had taught her. She showed them how to fold the cloth, how to tie it with special knots, how to dip it in the indigo dye, how to wait for the magic to happen when you open the cloth and saw the pattern. But she also taught them other things. She taught them how to keep records, how to understand costs, how to think about quality, how to take beautiful photographs of their work. She taught them about respect and pride in what they made. "Every piece you make," Amina told them, "is a piece of our history. It is a piece of our mother's knowledge. So you must make each piece with your whole heart. You must make it beautiful. You must make it perfect." Maya and Tun worked hard. They learned quickly. Within a few weeks, they were making beautiful textiles. Better and better with each one. Then came the day that changed everything. Amina had created an Instagram account for Ancestral Threads. Every day she photographed the new textiles and posted them. She used good lighting. She told stories about the patterns. She explained the meaning behind each design. She wrote about her grandmother and the village and the history of the cloth. Not many people followed her account. Maybe 200 people. Some were her friends. Some were people who loved African art. Some were tourists who had visited Nigeria. Then one day she got a message. It was from a woman named Chioma. Chioma was an influencer. She had over 200,000 followers on Instagram. She followed fashion, lifestyle, African culture. She said she loved Amina's work. She wanted to buy some textiles for a photo shoot she was doing. Amina's hands were shaking when she read the message. She could not believe it. She packed 4 of her most beautiful pieces very carefully. She sent them to Chioma. A week later, Chioma posted the photographs. In the photos, the textiles looked like art. Like treasures. Like something precious and valuable. Chioma wrote a long caption about the meaning of the patterns, about supporting African women entrepreneurs, about the beauty of traditional knowledge. In 2 days, Amina received 150 orders. In 1 week, she received 500 orders. In 2 weeks, she had orders from people in Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Kenya, South Africa. People were writing to her asking if they could sell her textiles in their shops. Boutique owners were messaging her. Online shops were asking for wholesale prices. Amina called an emergency meeting with Maya and Tund. "We have a problem," she said. "A good problem, but a problem. We cannot make 500 pieces with just the 3 of us. We need help." "What do we do?" Maya asked. Amina thought carefully. She had learned from patience that you must grow slowly and carefully. You must not lose quality when you grow. You must think about your workers and treat them right. "We will partner with other artisans," Amina decided. "We will find women in different villages who know how to make traditional textiles. We will teach them our methods. We will give them the materials. We will pay them fairly. We will be like a cooperative. We will work together." So Amina traveled to villages outside Lagos. She met with groups of women who made textiles. She showed them her designs. She explained her vision. She told them she would buy their work if it met her standards. She would pay them more than any other buyer would pay them. Most of the women said yes. They were excited. They saw that this was a real opportunity. They saw that Amina respected their work. They saw that she was not trying to cheat them. Within 3 months, Amina was working with artisans from 5 different villages. Each group had about 5 to 8 women. They were all creating beautiful textiles. They were all earning money. They were all helping to feed their families. But Amina did not stop there. She hired 2 more women to work in the shop in Lagos. She hired someone to help with taking photographs and posting on social media. She hired someone to help with packing and shipping orders. She was now employing 12 women directly. And she was working with about 40 more women in the villages who were making the textiles. 6 months after the influencer had posted her work, Amina opened a second location. This was a bigger, more beautiful space in the heart of Lagos. It was in a shopping area where tourists and wealthy Nigerians came to shop. The shop had white walls and wooden floors. Large windows showed off the beautiful textiles. There was a small cafe where customers could sit and drink coffee while they looked at the products. On the opening day, hundreds of people came. They wanted to see the textiles. They wanted to meet Amina. They wanted to buy the pieces. The shop was so full that people had to wait outside to get in. Amina stood in the shop and looked around. She thought about the mansion on Victoria Island. She thought about sitting alone with untouched tea. She thought about feeling invisible. And she realized that all of that was gone. She was not invisible anymore. She was alive. 1 year after leaving Chinedu, Amina had built something real. Ancestral Threads was operating in 5 countries. She employed 40 women directly. She worked with over 100 women through the cooperative networks. Her textiles were sold in shops across West Africa. Rich people bought them. Museums wanted to display them. Fashion designers wanted to work with her. But more than that, she had created something that had meaning. Every woman who worked with Ancestral Threads had learned a skill. Every woman had earned money that she controlled. Every woman had gained confidence and independence. Amina started a program to mentor young women who wanted to start their own businesses. She taught them what patience had taught her. She taught them what she had learned through her own hard experience. She told them that they could do anything if they believed in themselves first. One day, a young woman came to her shop. The girl was maybe 25 years old. She was shy and scared. "I want to start a business," the girl said. "But I do not know how. And my family does not believe in me." Amina looked at this young woman and saw herself. She saw the girl she had been before Chinedu. But she also saw the woman she had become. "Then we will show them," Amina said. "We will show your family that you can do this. Come, sit with me. I will teach you everything I know." And as she sat with this young woman, Amina felt something warm in her chest. It was not just success. It was purpose. It was knowing that what she had suffered, what she had learned, what she had built, could help other women, could give them hope, could show them that they too could be free. She had built her empire. Not because a man had given it to her. Not because a man had believed in her. She had built it because she had believed in herself. She had built it with her own hands, her own mind, her own heart. And that made it real. That made it unbreakable. that made it beautiful. The evening was perfect. The sky above Lagos was turning orange and pink as the sun went down. Amina stood backstage at the Grand Hotel, looking at herself in the mirror. She wore a dress that she had chosen herself. It was made from one of her own textiles. The fabric was deep indigo blue with golden patterns. The patterns told the story of her journey. Every line in the cloth meant something. Every color had meaning. Her hands were shaking a little bit. In a few minutes, she would walk on stage to receive the Women Entrepreneur of the Year award. It was the biggest award in Nigeria for businesswomen. She could not believe it was happening to her. Just 2 years ago, she had been sitting alone in a mansion, feeling invisible. Now she was about to be recognized as one of the most important businesswomen in the country. The organizer came to her. "You are ready?" she asked. "Yes," Amina said. "I am ready." She walked out onto the stage. The lights were very bright. She could see the audience. There were hundreds of people. Rich people. Famous people. Important people. They were all clapping for her. She looked to the front row. There was her grandmother. Mama Folake was 92 years old now. Her hair was completely white. Her face was wrinkled like old paper. But her eyes were bright and full of pride. When she saw Amina, tears started to run down her face. The presenter called Amina's name. She walked forward and took the award. It was a beautiful crystal trophy. Her name was written on it. She held it and looked out at the people. "Thank you," she said into the microphone. Her voice was shaking a little bit. "Thank you for this award. This award is not just for me. It is for every woman who believed in me when I did not believe in myself. It is for my grandmother who taught me that our knowledge has value. It is for my friend Zara who gave me courage. It is for Patience who taught me that I must believe in myself first. And it is for every woman who works with ancestral threads. Every woman who makes our textiles. Every woman who has learned a skill. Every woman who has become independent." She looked at her grandmother again. "This is for you, Mama," she said. "For everything you taught me." The audience stood up and clapped. They clapped for a long time. Amina held the award and felt like she was dreaming. But she was not dreaming. This was real. After the ceremony, Amina went down to the front row. Her grandmother was waiting for her. She stood up slowly using a walking stick. When Amina reached her, the old woman pulled her into a tight hug. "I always knew," Mama Folake whispered. "I always knew you had this inside you. From when you were a small girl, I knew. I knew you would do something great." "I was so scared, Mama," Amina said. "I was so afraid." "Fear is good," her grandmother said. "Fear means you are doing something that matters. If you were not afraid, it would mean you were not trying hard enough. You did good, my child. You did very good." They held each other for a long time. People took photographs. People wanted to talk to Amina. But for those few minutes, she just held her grandmother. She held the woman who had taught her that her value came from inside herself. 3 months after the award, Amina did something she had been planning for a long time. She bought a house. It was not as big as Chinedu's mansion. It did not have marble floors or a swimming pool. But it was hers. She had paid for it with money that she had earned herself. The money came from her business. The money came from her own work. The day she received the keys, she walked through every room. She touched the walls. She stood in the empty living room and cried. But these were happy tears. These were tears of freedom. "I did it," she said to herself. "I actually did it." She furnished the house slowly. She chose every piece of furniture. She chose every color on every wall. She hung photographs of her grandmother on the walls. She put her award on the mantle. She bought a bed that was only hers. She had a kitchen where she cooked food that she wanted to eat. One night, she sat on her own bed in her own house and thought about how far she had come. She thought about the woman she had been. She thought about the woman she was now. Ancestral threads had grown beyond her dreams. The business now operated in 7 countries. She employed 55 people directly. She worked with over 200 women through her cooperative networks. The textiles were sold in the finest shops across Africa. International fashion designers wanted to collaborate with her. Museums in Europe wanted to display her work. But more than that, Amina had created change. Every woman who worked with her had learned a skill. Every woman had earned money that gave her independence. Every woman had gained confidence. Amina had started 3 schools to teach traditional textile making. She had given scholarships to young girls to go to university. She had created a fund to help women start their own businesses. Then came the day that tested everything she had learned. It was at a business conference in Abuja. The biggest business leaders in Nigeria were there. Amina was speaking on a panel about women in business. She was telling her story. How she had started with nothing. How she had built ancestral threads. How every woman could do the same if she believed in herself. After her talk, people wanted to meet her. They wanted to shake her hand. They wanted to take pictures. Amina was tired but happy. She was walking toward the exit when she saw him. Chinedu. He was standing by the door. He was older now. His hair had gray in it. He was talking to some men. He had not seen her yet. Amina's heart started to beat fast. She thought about turning around. She thought about leaving through another door. But then she thought no. She had nothing to be afraid of. She had nothing to be ashamed of. She had done nothing wrong. She walked toward him. When he saw her, his face changed. His eyes got very big. He could not believe it was her. Amina, he said. He said her name like he was not sure if it was really her. Hello, Chinedu, she said. Her voice was calm and strong. He looked at her from head to foot. He looked at her dress, which was made from her own textiles. He looked at her face, which was confident and alive. He looked at the award pin on her jacket. I heard about your business, he said slowly. I did not believe it was really you. I thought maybe someone else had the same name. Amina smiled. But it was not a smile that was trying to please him. It was a real smile. The smile of someone who was content with herself. It is me, she said. I built it. I am doing very well. Chinedu did not know what to say. He opened his mouth and closed it. He looked confused and shocked and something else. Maybe he was sad. Maybe he was realizing something that he should have realized a long time ago. I told you that you could never survive without me, he said finally. I know, Amina said. You were wrong. She said it gently. Not with anger. Not with bitterness. Just with truth. She was not trying to hurt him. She was just stating a fact. I am sorry, Chinedu said. It sounded like the words surprised him when he said them. I should have supported you. I should have believed in you. Amina looked at him for a moment. She thought about the woman she had been when she was married to him. She thought about all the pain. She thought about all the fear. And she felt something. It was not anger. It was not hate. It was something like pity. She pitied him. She pitied the man who had been so afraid of a woman's power that he had tried to crush it. You did what you thought was right, she said. But I have learned that I am responsible for my own life. You cannot give me power. And you cannot take it away. Only I can do that. Chinedu nodded slowly. I see that now, he said. Amina said goodbye to him politely. She walked away. She did not look back. She did not feel angry or sad. She felt free. That night, she sat in her own house in her own room. She thought about everything that had happened. She thought about the journey from the mansion to this place. It had been hard. It had been scary. But it had been necessary. She had learned the most important lesson of her life. Her worth did not come from a man. Her worth did not come from money or houses or awards. Her worth came from inside herself. It came from her own hands. It came from her own mind. It came from her own heart. She was no longer surviving in anyone's shadow. She was standing in her own light. And that light was brilliant. That light was warm. That light was hers alone. Amina picked up her phone and called her grandmother. Hello, Mama, she said. I wanted to tell you something. I'm happy. I'm truly happy. Thank you for everything you taught me. I know you are happy, her grandmother said. I can hear it in your voice. This is how it was supposed to be, my child. This is how it was always supposed to be. And as Amina sat in her own house, in her own life, with her own future stretching out before her, she knew that her grandmother was right. This was exactly how it was supposed to be. She was the woman she was always meant to become.